know how everything can change in a matter of days. It was all good just a week ago. We beat up on the Chicago Sky a few days ago. 35-point victory. Caitlin Clark triple-double. Indiana Fever riding high. Indiana Fever fans riding high. Caitlin Clark supporters riding high. And then, of course, the dweebs do what the dweebs do. They make up nonsense. They make up lies. And the WNBA validate the lies. The WNBA validates the nonsense. The WNBA validates non-truths.
The Indiana Fever have finished playing nice and are now threatening to boycott the entire WNBA because of what they claim are outright lies, rumors, and drama lies. The problem is that no one is revealing the specifics of these lies, which range from explosive secrets to behind-the-scenes feuds. Is this a power maneuver or the beginning of a scandal that might rock the WNBA as a whole? The Fever are acting as though they know something that the other teams in the league truly don't want out. Keep an eye out because this one is going to blow up.
Unbelievable. Absolutely unbelievable. This dump, this turd of turds known as the WNBA, this damn league can't get the hell out of their own way. They don't get it. They just don't get it. The diva of Dump Divas, Kat Engelbert, she does not understand how fragile this fan base is. And by fragile, I'm referring to their level of loyalty to pretend basketball, which in this case doesn't exist.
Okay, the case doesn't exist. If you thought the WNBA drama was solely about basketball, get ready for a reality check that will be messier than your last breakup text. Here is the Indiana Fever's hot, sizzling mess both on and off the court, led by none other than the brilliant, irresistible every sports executive fantasizes about insanely high ticket prices, sellout games, new fans tuning in, and the Fever providing the heat, energy, and attention the WNBA sorely needs. Caitlin Clark is essentially the league's cash cow, the golden ticket, the crowd puller, and the hype machine.
You would think the number one thing you'd be talking about after that game, after that amazing performance from Caitlin Clark, the triple-double, the amazing passes, the crazy shots, you'd think we would be talking about basketball. The number one thing you think we'd be investigating is how nobody else in the WNBA has ever done anything like Caitlin Clark is doing. We should be investigating the fact that Caitlin Clark's 4 threes in that game were more exciting than, like, if you go to 2022 and check out the top 10 plays of the WNBA season, her 4 threes in that game were more exciting than those 10 plays, literally. Like, what she does in one game is single-handedly more exciting than anything we've ever seen in the WNBA. That's what we should be.
We ought to be, but the league and its devoted supporters choose to pretend that the Fever are the evil guys ruining the basket because the fans of the Fever reportedly got a bit too excited when Caitlin Clark dared to attack Angel Reese.
Is what started all of this.
It's a flagrant, and then Chicago will maintain the basketball. Reese misses.
Okay, that was it. That noise you heard right there that sounds a little bit like a dolphin was actually a YouTuber called Flight Reacts. A laugh. All right, a laugh that it's my understanding actually gets played during NBA games too. That's what it's all about because they tried to say that sounded like a monkey.
Let's go back in time and reenact this as a vintage reality show. Angel, the queen of smirks and side eyes, Reese, gives a Fever player a firm back of the head shove that shouts, "I'm here to throw elbows and get away with it." After that, Caitlin gives Angel a sincere reprimand. Angel becomes the untouchable martyr. The league fabricates conspiracy theories about racism in the stands, and the Fever supporters are suddenly portrayed as monsters despite being fair, clean, and involved in the game.
National television. It's been the most polarizing conversation in all of sports over the last 24 hours, rather. Angel Reese, many would suggest that she overreacted, but Slick, do you have an issue with Angel Reese's reaction to Caitlin Clark's flagrant foul?
Yes, and I have an issue with the way she reacted. I have an issue with the way it's being handled by her, by the Chicago Sky, everybody involved.
The irony, while the rest of the WNBA sits there like a sullen audience, Watching their own ratings get overshadowed by one player and the team that supports them, the Fever supporters are the only ones packing seats, purchasing jerseys, selling out arenas, and essentially funding the league.
Just really thankful. They continued to show up for us, and they make a lot of noise. Like, they're into it. They're not just sitting there. Like, they're invested in this basketball. It's great for our league. It's great for every team that gets to come and play here. I think we've had a lot of great battles, and they've helped us win a lot of games on this floor. So, like I said, hopefully we can bring the playoffs back here and give them a taste of it, because they deserve it. It's been since 2016. So, it's only going to get better and better from here on out.
The murmurs. We want Caitlin to succeed, but not like that, not while the Fever fans exist, are almost audible. Translation: the WNBA seems to have decided that the best way to deal with growing popularity is to burn the house down, starting with the very team that keeps the lights on. We want the league to grow, but only if it fits the script of victimhood and manufactured drama.
And here's the really bad part.
A flagrant foul on Caitlin Clark. Listen, I was at the game. If there was somebody being racist or saying shit, obviously boot him, never let him back. I would be stunned beyond belief if that was the case. This crowd, I've sat on the wood for a million games, been in a million environments. The crowd at the Fever game, little girls, families, ladies, nice crowd. You even though it's 100% false, by acknowledging we don't condone hate and not seeing that this was a internet rumor complete bullshit, you're lending credence to this. There was none of that. It was a great crowd, a positive crowd. Yeah, Angel Reese deserved to get her ass booed when she attacked Caitlin on a normal foul. Other than that,
the very supporters who are being accused of racism are also the ones that turned out in large numbers to cheer on their side. So is racism the true issue here? Or is you desire drama because it's about envy, control, and a healthy amount of resentment at the Fever in Caitlin's soaring stardom? Since sliced bread in the league, Angel Reese is the league's favorite antagonist, whether you like her or not, and the Fever fans seem to be the ones being blamed for every ounce of tension that arises. However, the truth is that without Caitlin Clark and the Fever, the WNBA might still be trying to fill half-empty gymnasiums with free ticket signs and awkward silence, but now it's booming, and the very people who should be. Let the Fever play, let Caitlin shine, and perhaps the WNBA will realize that sometimes growth is messy, but it's totally worth it. While the league ponders, the Fever continues to score on the court and in the hearts of fans because, in the end, no amount of trivial drama can stop the real game of basketball, which sells out arenas, sells jerseys, and makes the sport impossible to ignore.
They wanted to hone their defensive skills last season. In the offseason, Stephanie White made it a point to drill that idea home. I mean, Caitlin Clark talked about upping her defense, and in the offseason, they picked up a lot of key defenders. They picked up Natasha Howard, who is the 2019 Defensive Player of the Year, and last season, the Connecticut Sun came in first in their defensive rating. So what did the Fever do? They took Stephanie White, they took Keith Porter, they brought in Tawana Bonner, and they said, we're doing this.
All right, let's take a closer look at this WNBA soap opera, which has more twists than a pretzel factory. The Indiana Fever, the team that has essentially restored the league's glory after years. They have Caitlin Clark, the rookie wonder, who is not only smashing records, but also destroying expectations more quickly than anyone could have imagined, off flickering dimly like a poor phone connection. It's essentially a sports marketer's dream come true, with fans coming to games, venues crowded, ticket prices skyrocketing like they have rocket fuel strapped underneath, and merchandise sales through the ceiling. However, here's the thing. Rather than a collective, hell yeah, let's ride this wave, the Fever and their supporters are suddenly portrayed as the antagonists in this tale, claimed to be too loud, too proud, and strangely too friendly from both the league and the fans, too much that seems to undermine the carefully constructed message the rest of the WNBA tries to convey. It's like the league's own take on "you can't sit with us," but with basketball jerseys and some extremely dubious remarks about who should play.
Today, the WNBA is investigating alleged racial comments that were directed at WNBA player Angel Reese by fans yesterday at the Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Actually, that game was on Sunday. The Players Union says it supports, on Saturday rather. The Players Union says it supports the investigation and condemns all forms of hate and discrimination.
What is the actual problem then? After that notorious tackle, which drove the internet into a frenzy and the WNBA into what appeared to be a PR meltdown, everything came to a head. In a moment that was essentially basketball, Rhee, the league's reigning drama queen and the epitome of attitude, became entangled with Caitlin Clark. 101 contact hustle and a little roughhousing, but somehow this simple in-game altercation turned into a full-fledged witch hunt against the Fever. Suddenly, the topic of discussion shifted from who played better or harder to racism, unsportsmanlike behavior, and whether the Fever should even be permitted to play. Now, let's put on our detective hats for a moment. The whole thing begins when Angel Reese pushes a Fever player, a cheap shot if you will, but Angel Reese escapes punishment or headlines condemning her for dirty play. However, when Caitlin answers with a textbook legal tackle, boom, the Fever fans are called racists, the league stirs the pot about fan behavior, and the media goes into overdrive as if it were a reality TV program's season finale, and you begin to wonder if someone accidentally switched the sports channel to a talk show throughout the day.
People just aren't used to the heated intensity of a great rivalry. But in the NBA, we had MJ and the Pistons, we had Bird and Magic. We're kind of used to it. As Caitlin Clark in Indiana hammered the Chicago Sky, it was like 4.5 minutes left in the third, there was a foul. It should not have been upgraded to a flagrant foul. It was a foul. And I really think if you truly respect women's basketball, let them play. Sort of like guys. Rivalries equal ratings. Sports is better with intensity. Animosity is part of it. This is okay. Who cares if Angel Reese doesn't like Caitlin Clark? It's not soccer.
However, the narrative intensifies at this point. It's like blaming the loudest, most fervent group at a party for the party being fun while other teams and fan bases are silent spectators watching their seats remain empty and their merchandise gather dust. The Fever aren't just the new kids on the block. They're the reason arenas are buzzing again, but the rest of the league isn't so much. You have to ask yourself why the focus is suddenly on issues with Fever fans when they're the ones actually showing up. Caitlin Clark is having on the sport itself. She's not just playing basketball, she's changing the narrative. Here's a rookie entering a league where the veterans were meant to take center stage, but instead of taking the mic, she's rewriting the script, making sure everyone knows she's here to stay, breaking attendance records, and creating an unstoppable buzz. However, rather than being hailed, she and the Fever are met with resistance motivated by jealous territorialism and, to be honest, a little resentment. It's as though the rest of the league forgot that competition is meant to advance sports, not sabotage them with trivial resentments and inflated drama.
Had Angel or anyone else done the exact same type of a foul to Caitlin, the storyline is different. I don't have an issue with the foul. I thought it was a hard foul. I was always taught you don't give up an easy basket, and that's what I thought Caitlin did. My thing with that was stand in it.
Stand on business.
Yeah.
I got no issue with none of it. It's just basketball soft as hell right now on both sides of it. There ain't no damn flagrant foul, man.
Hear your perspective on the flagrant foul. What was the point you were trying to make to her?
It's just a good take foul, you know? Either wide open 2 points or, you know, we send him to the free throw line. Nothing malicious about it. It's just a good take foul. Every basketball player knows that.
The Fever are bringing in new fans, enthusiasm, and a new vibe that the league sorely needs. As a result, ticket sales are soaring, merchandise is flying off the shelves, social media chatter is exploding, and the media narrative is fixated on conflict, controversy, and who initiated it, as it seems that stories about excitement and growth aren't nearly as clickable as those on drama and division. It's also important to note how all of this contributes to broader discussions about sports culture fandom and the fight for legitimacy. The WNBA is battling for its spot in the crowded sports scene, and players like Caitlin Clark are the reason it's becoming more popular. However, rather than being celebrated as trailblazers, they're being targeted by jealousy and antiquated gatekeeping, while Angel Reese and her horde of fans are. Despite dubious actions and in-court eerie's that wouldn't be tolerated in most other leagues, they are shielded as though they are the keys to the kingdom. There is no denying the double standard, which conveys the harmful idea that hard work and talent may not be sufficient if you don't fit the ideal narrative.
Of this audience, they have no loyalty to the WNBA. Their loyalty lies with Caitlin Clark, and that loyalty, it is not guaranteed to extend to the rest of this putrid league. No one is loyal to the dump. No one cares about the WNBA.
We now have a statement from Mel Raines, who is the head of PSNE, saying, quote, "We are aware of the allegations of inappropriate fan conduct, and we are working closely with the WNBA to complete their investigation. We stand firm in our commitment to provide a safe environment for all WNBA."
The WNBA's future rests on embracing that enthusiasm rather than attempting to quell it. So let the fever run, let Caitlin dominate, and let the fans roar loudly and proudly. If the league hopes to expand, it will need to choose whether to support the status quo or success, and the Fever and their supporters are currently doing all the heavy lifting on the court and in the stands. The question is, will the WNBA be wise enough to realize this before it's too late? Only time will tell, but while some attempt to put out the fire, they're only making it worse. Keep an eye on Caitlin Clark and Indiana as they are changing the course of the game, and trust me, this heat isn't going to go away anytime soon.